Have you ever noticed how your mind can return to the same memory again and again, even when you desperately want to move on? A conversation from years ago. A mistake you wish you could undo. A person you thought you had forgotten. A moment that should have ended, but somehow still lives inside your head. You try to focus on today, but your brain keeps pulling you backward. Late at night, in silence, those old memories return. Sometimes it feels like your mind is playing the same scene on repeat. You ask yourself, why am I still thinking about this? Why can't I let it go? Why does the past still feel so close? And the truth is, it's not because your mind wants to hurt you. Usually, when the brain keeps replaying the past, it is trying to solve something, understand something, or protect you from feeling it again. The past is not always gone. Sometimes, it stays alive inside unresolved emotions. The human brain does not like unfinished emotional experiences. When something feels incomplete, an unanswered question, an apology never received, a goodbye that never happened, your mind keeps returning to it. Because your brain wants closure. It wants understanding. It wants meaning. It wants a clear ending. Without that ending, the memory stays active. This is why some moments stay with you longer than others. Not because they were the biggest moments, but because they were the least resolved. A short conversation can stay in your mind for years if it left emotional confusion behind. Your brain replays it, hoping that somehow, by thinking enough, it can finally finish what reality never did. But thinking is not always closure. Sometimes it only becomes a loop. Regret is one of the strongest reasons the mind replays the past. You think about what you should have said, what you should have done, the choice you wish you had made differently. Your brain creates alternate versions. If only I had. What if I had chosen differently? Maybe everything would be better now. This is the mind trying to rewrite reality. Because regret creates pain, and the brain tries to reduce that pain by searching for a better version of the story. But there is a trap. The more you replay regret, the stronger it becomes. Because the past cannot be edited, only remembered. And sometimes, healing begins the moment you stop trying to rewrite what happened, and start learning from it instead. Not every memory stays because of logic. Some stay because of emotion. Painful experiences, rejection, betrayal, humiliation, heartbreak leave emotional marks deeper than ordinary memories. Even when the event is over, the feeling remains. And emotions are powerful anchors. That is why one sentence someone said years ago can still hurt today. Not because of the words, but because of how those words made you feel. The brain remembers emotional danger. It stores it carefully. Because from the brain's perspective, pain is information. It says, remember this. Don't let it happen again. So sometimes, replaying the past is not nostalgia. It is survival. Your mind is trying to protect you by keeping the lesson alive. Have you noticed how the past becomes louder at night? During the day, there is noise. Work. Messages. Movement. Distraction. But at night, silence arrives. And silence creates space. That is when old memories walk back in. Because the mind finally has room to hear them. This is why overthinking often feels strongest before sleep. You are not suddenly becoming more emotional. You are simply no longer distracted enough to avoid what is already there. Night removes noise. And what remains is often unresolved thought. That is why healing is not just about staying busy. Because eventually, silence will always ask you to listen. Sometimes, your brain is not replaying the event. It is replaying the person. Someone you loved. Someone who hurt you. Someone who changed your life. Even after they are gone, your mind keeps returning to them. Not because you want pain, but because emotional attachment leaves deep patterns. People become part of your routine, your identity, your emotional world. And when they leave, the mind struggles to adjust. It keeps replaying memories because memory feels safer than absence. Sometimes, missing someone is not just missing them. It is missing the version of yourself that existed with them. And that is much harder to let go of. Another reason the brain replays the past is guilt. You keep asking yourself if you were the problem. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe you failed someone. Maybe you failed yourself. Guilt makes the mind investigative. It reopens old moments like evidence. Searching. Questioning. Judging. Because guilt wants certainty. It wants to know if you deserve forgiveness. But guilt without compassion becomes self-punishment. And some people stay mentally trapped in old mistakes because they believe suffering is proof of responsibility. But suffering is not growth. Awareness is. And healing begins when accountability becomes learning, not lifelong punishment. Ask yourself something honestly. Are you remembering the past? Or are you still emotionally living inside it? There is a difference. Memory is normal. But emotional residence is different. It means the event is over in reality, but still active inside your nervous system. Your body still reacts. Your emotions still respond. Your identity still carries it. That is not just memory. That is unprocessed experience. And unprocessed emotions do not disappear with time. They wait. Until they are acknowledged. Until they are understood. Until they are finally felt. Sometimes people do not let go because letting go feels wrong. It feels like forgetting. Like disrespecting the pain. Like saying what happened did not matter. Especially after heartbreak, loss, or deep disappointment. Part of you believes holding on to the pain is a form of loyalty. If I stop hurting, maybe it means it didn't matter. But healing is not betrayal. Peace does not erase meaning. Moving forward does not cancel love. Letting go is not pretending it never happened. It is accepting that it happened, without allowing it to control your future. That is strength. Not forgetting. Freedom. You do not stop replaying the past by forcing yourself not to think. That usually makes it stronger. Real healing starts with understanding. What is the memory trying to tell you? Is it regret? Grief? Fear? Unfinished emotion? When you name it, you reduce its power. Journaling helps. Honest reflection helps. Real conversations help. Not because they erase memory, but because they turn confusion into clarity. The goal is not forgetting. The goal is peace. A memory can stay without controlling you. That is healing. Your brain replays the past because it thinks it is helping you. It believes repetition creates protection. It believes remembering prevents pain. And sometimes, that is true. But there is a point where remembering stops protecting, and starts imprisoning. That is when healing becomes necessary. You are not weak for struggling with old memories. You are human. The mind holds on to what mattered. But healing teaches it what no longer needs to be carried. And that lesson changes everything. The past is powerful. Not because it still exists, but because it still lives inside you. Pause. But you are not meant to live there forever. You are allowed to remember. Without staying trapped. You are allowed to heal. Without guilt. You are allowed to move forward. Without betraying what happened. Pause. Most people spend years replaying old pain, thinking understanding will come from repetition. But sometimes, peace begins when you stop replaying and start releasing. Pause. If you want to understand your mind, your emotions, and the hidden patterns shaping your life, then stay connected. Because this is only the beginning. Your mind has been trying to tell you something.